All right. So we counted in?
Counted it.
3, 2.
There we go, and not the other way. I like that, Robert. You're learning, bro. You're learning.
Oh, man. Welcome to Let's Get Into It.
We're going to get into it today. Literally, we got a guy who got into it.
Ben Bray, right? Ben Bray there's another name in there, right? It's not just Ben Bray. It's
Hernandez.
Okay, Ben Hernandez Bray. But let's talk about your movie. We talked about your movie when Antoine Fisher was here.
Everything's going good. Everything's...
my disappointment here is that you're not going for more money.
Well...
Because at the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about $10,000 for a movie. I appreciate that you're doing it for 10, but I really do think with Lilo, with Joey Medina, with the stuff you've got going on, that your investors need to step up a little bit, because that's nothing for them. It really should be sitting around 50 or 60 so that you can get some sound, so that you can quality control it in terms of picture, so you can have some nice titles. You know, titles would be $1,000, but you should have them done professionally, because that's not something someone can just do. Otherwise, it looks like video.
No, I got you. But I did tell you about my buddy Feminel out in Vegas, right? The guy from New York, and he called.
Let's go for more money. Let's
he
up
said,
this
Tony,
thing to
what's the
20
matter? Well, you
least.
didn't come to me. I said, Feminel, I'm not going to, I didn't know this. He goes, we talk about
I'm
movies
come
all
to you.
the time.
See, your voice goes up like this.
Well, no, because he's like that. Why are you breaking my balls? That's how the guy talks. You know, I'm going to have him call in one day and talk to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Such a ball breaker.
No, I was just kidding.
My buddy from San Diego, from Chula Vista, who owns, I went to high school with him, he owns a flooring company. He does pretty well. I mean, he's not like rolling, but he's not. So we always talk about movies when I go to Chula Vista. He's all, hey, what's going on? Hollywood, blah, blah. So the $5K that I was looking for, I go, you know what? I'm going to ask him, see what happens, you know? So I reached out. I said, hey, man, there's this opportunity. If you're interested, I got Lilo, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, I'm interested. I said, okay, cool. He goes, when do you need the money by? I go, well, and I told him the wrong thing. I said, right before we start shooting, which isn't true. I need it now. Or I need at least to secure a lot of stuff right now. So Weiser calls me and he says, you get the money? I go, no, but I'm getting it. He goes, did you get it? Because if you don't have it, you don't got it.
I like that, Weiser. I like that.
Weiser's like that. He's a lot like you.
Got it.
You don't got it. And I said, he goes, you got to call the guy right now and secure the money. He goes, at least secure payment for a lead actor. You know, right. So then we're free and clear. His room's taken care of, hotel, everything's taken care of.
I like Weiser.
Yeah, good. So I go, so I call him. I go, hey, how's it going, buddy? You know, like we're friends. I go, look, man, here's the deal. I'm totally transparent. I got to be honest. I need 2 of that 5 right now. He goes, okay. He goes, well, you got to give me a couple days. I go, okay, cool. What do you think? You know, he's like, give me till Thursday. So I get off. I call Weiser all excited. I go, dude, guess what? I'm gonna get it on Thursday. It's like a Monday. He goes, Your buddy don't have the money, dude. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you asked him for $2,000. He told you to wait till Thursday. He don't got the money. I go, no, I think he does. And he just has to move some stuff around. Not everybody's rolling like you, Weiser. And he goes, okay, well, we'll see. But I have a feeling Weiser has a little bit in his back pocket that he knows he's going to have to come out with, you know? So my buddy did.
He came up with it?
I called him on Thursday. Actually, I waited till Friday because I felt like a dick, you know, because he's my friend. And we're still going to be friends. Right. And I told him, I go, look, man, this is a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, I can't promise you anything. I'm hoping he goes, $5K. I spent a night, drinking with him, go out on vacation. I go, yeah, I mean, that's how I look at shit like this. Like, I go, so, I don't want it to affect our friendship by any means. He goes, no, we're cool. He goes, it'd be cool. Something that I've always wanted to get involved with. Yeah. Because it's true. For years we've been going out. He always talks about, hey, are you going to make another movie? And everything was such a small scale. It's
so refreshing. I'm sure Ben will agree with me. It's so refreshing to think about $10,000 budget.
And I'm in the hole because I'm buying stuff. My credit cards are maxed.
If you've got someone saying, I'll give you 10, or I'll give you 50, I'll give whatever it is, just get a piece of it. Get 10% of it, get 20% of it. I just did this on Almaraz. A guy came in for 25. I gave him a nice credit. And I said, you know what? Send me 5 through PayPal. Just right now. Put it on your credit card. Okay, done. Boom. Oh, by the way, I need another 5 right now, like tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Boom. PayPal, $10,000.
Yeah, you got 10.
I got the 10. So then he's got 15 to go. I'm okay with that scenario because I know he's not going to not do the rest of it. I just have to spread it out. Sometimes it's just a matter of making people comfortable with cutting the checks. The first one's the hardest. After that, they're already in. Yeah. Investors are very, very sophisticated, dude. Yeah. They will cut the check. If they shake your hand, say they will do it, they will do it. So what if I said, I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to use 10 investors, but the criteria to be an investor in this movie is you would have had to won the lottery.
I like that.
10 investors that have won the lottery. We all make it with money that was won.
Luck.
And we test the luck of the world with a movie from investors that have only been lucky.
I like it.
Lucky. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we cover everything.
Cool.
We cover everything. We cover the pitch to the investor. We cover them agreeing to do it.
You got the IP because the doc comes out first before the movie.
That's
But
right.
just having the mojo of their luck, all 10 of them.
I like
you
that.
never know.
You never know. It could be
a really good
a
movie.
really cool test.
Maybe our guest today, Ben, could direct.
You never know. Well, let's introduce Ben. Let's introduce Ben Bray. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Bray.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Roberts, I got to tell you, I took a page out of your handbook with this gentleman. I first saw Ben at my buddy's gym. I know his older brother, John, who was a Olympian boxer, great guy. And I read something about this movie called El Chicano in the trades. I was like, oh, that's dope. And then I saw Ben Bray, and I go, wait a minute, John Bray, Ben Bray. So I called my buddy Fortune, who owns this gym. I said, Ben Bray. He goes, yeah, you know him. He's a stunt guy. I go, no, and he's directing this, and he wrote it. He goes, yeah. I go, oh shit. So I go on Instagram. This is what's great about social media. I go on, I start following him. The dude is just such a cool guy. Like, he's got 2 boys, a wife, that he's such a family man. So I start researching him, and dude, what a great backstory. I start following him. I tell Fortune, hey, I want to meet this guy. I haven't, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, whatever. So I'm at, what's the place where you get the pumpkins? Underwood.
Underwood Farms.
Underwood
we just went this
Farms,
past weekend again.
yeah.
Underwood
We
Farms.
just went this weekend.
So Lopez was supposed to go, but it's Pierna. Remember the whole
La
thing?
Pierna,
La Pierna.
yeah.
He couldn't come, of course, but his family's there, and I'm with my family, and we're eating lunch, and I look over, and I see his boys, and I go, wait a minute, I recognize those kids, And then I see his wife, and I see John's daughter, and then I see him. And if you don't know Ben, he looks like an intimidating dude. He's got some ink. He's a bigger dude, Mexicano. He had the Raiders or the Dodgers hat on. So I told my wife, I go, oh, shit, there's Ben Bray. And I get excited about these type of people, only actors or whatever. This guy's a writer, director, a stuntman. Like, he started out, he was a fighter, so that, like, I'm like, oh, shit. So my wife goes, go talk to him. I go, I can't go talk to him. She goes, you should talk to him about your grandpa's movie. I go, well, fuck, should I? Huevos. I thought I channeled you. I said, fuck it, I'm going to go up to him. So I went up and I go, hey, Ben, how you doing, man? And he was so cool. I go, congratulations, El Chicano. He goes, oh, thanks. And
This was recently.
this was around,
was it?
October. Cause it was
October,
right
right
before.
for Halloween, yeah.
So we start talking, we hit it off, we exchange numbers, we go back and forth. The dude's super busy though. We were supposed to have some calidades one day, but
beer.
I mean, yeah, dude, I was so and I kept
Wait a
telling.
minute, time out. Why calidad? Why can't it be Casa Mexico? Why does it have to be calidad?
Dude, I mean, it could be, but Casa Mexico, dude, I'm a lightweight, bro. I like beer. Well, I'm on the whole keto thing right now, so it's gonna have to probably be Casa Mexico.
Oh,
yeah,
exactly.
man.
But
Low glycemic input. Just think about that.
But this guy, that's true. But Ben's story is so awesome, and I'm so like cheering for him in his film El Chicano. It's just such a great story. And I'm so excited.
Should I reintroduce him? Since
No,
you
I go.
took
All
his
right,
time?
I like you guys talking about it. You guys make it sound a lot better than I
It's
would.
almost like you're not even here.
I know. It's great, man.
Well, look, Ben Bray, really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
We were talking a little bit about your middle name. Is that your middle name, or is it? How did that come about?
I dedicated. My mother passed away 2 years ago, so when she passed away, it was a decision I made to dedicate her maiden name and make it my middle name for the rest of my career. She was just a big fan of what I was doing, whether it was getting thrown, doing a bailout out of a car, or getting thrown through a window, or, your typical Mexican mother, just excited to see your name in lights. And so that's what I decided to do. Because I was Ben Bray for the last, oh my God, over 20 years.
Well, Ben Bray's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Good entertainment name.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me, Rod Riggs, Rod
Riggs.
Ramirez Riggs.
Yeah.
So it's like we're like the same. That's what I'm telling you, dude. I love this guy.
Well,
I'm his biggest fan.
You're a serious fan. Good for you.
No, he was great. I mean, I'm glad we met.
Yeah.
So when he walked up to you, was it a little uncomfortable?
It was. I was a little frightened. My wife was like,
she got in boxing.
My wife's from Silmar, so she was kind of, fucking throwing up the arms.
She's like, hang on a second, this dude with the sweatsuits, what's going on?
I think I might have been in a sweatsuit too.
I think I saw that on Instagram. You guys, who else was wearing one? And then Mario was kind of bagging.
Oh, he
kept yours loose.
Yeah,
that's me, man. I need the room.
That's what I'm talking about. We're old school. That's what it is. I'm not this new like tapered look. Not my thing.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of tough.
I'm gonna work backwards because we just recently had Emilio Rivera on.
Oh, he's great. I love him.
Who's in El Chicano.
Yeah, he's amazing.
But I think we have to give credit where credit is due. To make a movie with Latinos in this day and age is a complicated thing. I mean, just to make a movie in general, we talk about it a lot here. It's very difficult to make movies now. There was a time, and you'll remember this time, there was a time when you could make a movie and say like, oh, we're going to pick up 50% on the Hollywood video sale or the exclusive deal at Blockbuster or something. You can promise something back. You could say to an investor, we're going to make 50%. We're taking a risk on the rest of it, but 50 you'll get back. You can't do that anymore. And it's become very complicated to promise investors their money back. I think it's a tough world. So to do a movie like you did is pretty amazing. And it's gutsy. Tell me about how the film has been received.
The Latinx have been half and half. They really didn't like the exposure of gang violence and the drugs and, the typical characters that they felt that they've seen decade after decade. And that's why it's very difficult to get films financed because they see the Chicano culture or the Latin culture, the Mexican culture, and I guess more of a negative state or a negative visual. And then there's been that really have embraced and understand. I think that, Joe Carnahan, who's my, who we co-wrote together and produced it, God bless him, because the movie wouldn't have been made without him. He's pretty harsh on the critics. God bless him. But that's all out of love. Yeah. Out of love for the fact that how this film even initially got started. He's been there from the very beginning. Yeah. And he's my best friend. But it's funny as we're going to the last few days of the film being out in theaters. I've been getting a lot of love. In fact, I just got an email from Briarcliff's company, and Tanya Gonzalez, who's from Think Latino, just sent me a great text this morning saying that they've got a packed house at the Latino Caucus in Los Angeles. They're going to be showing the film. Cool. And everybody's going to be there. They're all hardcore filmmakers. A lot of them seen the movie already, and they really dig it.
Tell us about who's in it.
Well, we got Raul Castillo, who is in We the Animals, which is kind of a indie sweetheart movie that's done really well this past year. He's also in Vida, which that's my wife and I's favorite show right now is Vida. Yeah, it's a really great show.
Did she help cast that?
Huh?
Did she help cast that? But she's like, you got to get this guy.
You know what? She definitely is the one you kind of like. It's nice to have somebody outside the business to kind of give their opinion because she's a viewer, and she's a fan. So it is nice. She loved his look, and Raul was more of instinct. I found him through CAA. They had, listen, you go in this big white room and they show you all the lead actors that are Mexicano. There's not many. No. There's not even a handful. Raul just reminded me somebody that I grew up in the neighborhood, and I trusted.
And he's the lead.
He plays Diego. Yeah. He plays El Chicano. Diego and Pedro. Yeah. I met with him. We Skyped each other. He was living in Hell's Kitchen in New York at the time. He's originally from Texas. We had talked, and we just had a great energy and a vibe. Then I went out there I think I went out there like 3 different times in New York that whole year just to meet with him, hang out with him, kind of pick his brain.
He was the right choice.
I just knew he was the right one.
And then you got Emilio in it.
And then we got Emilio Rivera. We have George Lopez, which thanks to Amy Garcia, was able to get the script to George. It was kind of like this domino effect.
Dude, George is not easy to get, by the way.
George is not easy to get at all.
Not easy to get.
I mean, we went the traditional route through Ali Ben Muhammad at UTA.
Forget about
it. And Ali loved it. He goes, I got to get it to George. George hasn't read it. Every week was like, he hasn't read it, but he's going to read it.
Someone who knows.
And it was Amy who was like, George that's like his daughter,
Yeah.
you know, his adopted daughter. And Amy basically made a call and just said, hey, listen, you've got to read this thing.
Well,
And so he read it, and he called me when I was in Calgary doing tech scouts. And he goes, bro, I know every one of these characters.
Yeah.
I grew up with these characters in my neighborhood.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
you shot, I noticed, I haven't seen the movie and I will watch it, but you shot a lot of it downtown, right? I mean, the 4th Street Bridge, I think I noticed the 4th Street Bridge.
We got 5 days out there. Exteriors.
Looks awesome.
We used
lighting up those arches is super
it's
cool,
iconic.
right? Yeah,
I mean, I remember that from,
really
Mi Familia and Blood and Blood Out. I
Very
had to.
cool. Yeah.
You know, even Joe was like, what is it about that area? He goes, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
And the architecture and the visual, these beautiful, like 14 mil wides.
Beautiful, yeah.
I had that in my head when I was writing it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so, we had the 5 days.
Where did the story come from?
Originally came from, I lost a brother to gang violence 12 years ago. My youngest brother, his name was Craig. And it was tough. It was hard. I started just writing. You know, I was already interested in becoming a storyteller as a stuntman. I just didn't know how I was going to get there, especially being Latino. And, you know, you saw brown faces in front of the camera and some behind camera, but not a lot that were directing, even when I was working on television shows. But, you know, I was doing a lot of reading, a lot of my own self-education.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading something from an excerpt of a book, and it was just about getting through tragedy by writing, you know, just kind of a therapeutic thing. So I started writing a memoir about my brother and how I dealt with his death, how my mother dealt with his death, and my brothers and sisters. And it started, that was the initial idea of El Chicano.
Right.
And El Chicano, the actual kind of this vigilante superhero, was kind of a metaphor. Well, it was a metaphor of not having a father. Because I always felt like I had people, fortunately, that were my mentors, people I looked up to. Craig was really caught up in the streets. And I always questioned, like, I wonder if we would have had dual parenting. We would have had my mother and my father. Would he still be here? Right. And I questioned that all the time. So eventually, as I was coming up in the business as a stuntman, I started developing the script from a memoir into script form. And I started shopping around, talking to a few people as I was building relationships. Mm-hmm. Originally, it was David O. Russell, who I started coordinating for and directing Second Unit. And he gave me some really great notes, and he was helping me a lot with it. And then it wasn't until I met Joe Carnahan through David, we became just these fast friends. It was like he's like my brother from another mother. We just clicked, and we started working together. And I started coordinating all his shows and directing Second Unit. And I approached it with him in like you said, like in ease. You know, I didn't want to take advantage of the friendship, but I was like, I think this is something could be really special. And he fell in love with it right away. And when we were going back and forth, even though I was working as a Second Unit director, specifically just for him and David O. Russell, I hadn't finished it. Mm-hmm. We had a tragedy about 4 years ago where I lost a daughter. And that was enough to push me over the edge. Whatever that was obviously an emotional moment for me, but for my wife, who you met, Vanessa, and you know, Joe, being my best friend, came to me and said, listen, as bizarre as this sounds, and the fact that you've dedicated this to finishing this movie or writing this movie, this idea for your brother, I think it's now time to dedicate it to your daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I had a friend in New York who lived in the financial district, who had an apartment out there, and he was out, a stunt guy, Greg Harris, and Greg was out in I think in Miami doing a movie. He says, "Dude, my place is available. Go." So once I took care of my family and I got the blessing from my wife, I left for 4 weeks. God bless her. I left for 4 weeks, and I wrote in the dark, and I finished this thing. I rewrote everything. It was 185 pages, 188 pages when I was done. But I felt like I had this energy of my brother and my daughter with me in the dark. And every morning it was a routine. Get up in the morning, do a little workout, have a cup of coffee, and then boom, I was at it by myself. And it's like it was like a 10 by 10 room, as you know, in New York, how small the apartments are.
And how many years in the making was El Chicano?
This was 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah, it was 12 years. And then once I finished it, brought it back, Joe had read it and we dissected what was the poignant points and the most important parts of obviously of the story and what we needed to tell, and we started breaking it all down. And he had a place in Palm Springs, right outside of actually in La Quinta, right outside Palm Springs, and we went out there, and for 4 weeks, bro, we just off and on for 4 weeks. We wrote, we cried, we did tequila shots, we hugged it out, and we came up with these 125 pages.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, it is great. And thanks for sharing the story about your brother and your daughter.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Independent film is a miracle.
Yeah, it is.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
Because it comes out of such an emotional place a lot of times, right? You're driven to do the work. You're driven to raise the money. You're driven to finish the movie. It's very cool that you were able to do a film and keep the name El Chicano.
Yeah.
Did at any point in the game, did they ask you to change that?
Of course. Yeah. Especially when we even had and I'm a fan of the group. Even the group had an issue.
El Chicano asked you to change the name?
Yeah, they asked me to change
Why?
the name. Because they felt it was their name, was the name of their group. They've had since the 60s. It has. I know, bro. Now we're talking filmmaker moments, and you're sitting here as a storyteller going like, this has nothing to do with music or anything, bro. And if anything, you should embrace it, and maybe we can have a conversation, and maybe I can use one of your fucking songs that hasn't been in there.
How do you elevate
20
that?
something? Yeah. And they just weren't having it. Briarcliff had to take care of the situation. I was very respectful. Listen, I got it. I didn't get it, but they took care of it.
They figured it out.
Yeah. But it is to get anything made, as you know, it's incredible when it does.
Well, it's who distributed the film?
Briarcliff. It was Tom Ortenberg's company. Okay.
Well, they did a good job. They got you in.
Yeah, they listened. It was small, but we got over a little over 600 theaters in areas of the Latin community, which is great. And we've had a lot of, like I said, it's leaned in now where it's the majority of the reviews and people talking about it on social media have been all positive and just happy the movie even got made.
Chicano is an interesting word.
Yes, it is.
Well, because there's so much confusion about it, and I'm Chicano.
Right.
Mario Lopez is Chicano.
Yeah.
Toody's Chicano. Just making sure. Just double checking. Just double checking.
Do you want me to go Italian on you? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure.
Guy with the
sweatsuit on.
That's hard. Toody's,
I wore this for Ben, actually. I know he's a big Dodger fan. I was like, I'm going to wear the one
I love it.
Ben's going to like.
Toody's Chicano. But when I think about, I just did a documentary about Carlos Almaraz.
Oh, wow.
Who was not Chicano, but became Chicano.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, how do you become Chicano?
You know what, dude? Chicano was not very well thought out when it started.
Chicano's Mexican-American, right?
Well, it is.
It is. But everybody has their own view. But it's really weird. Is it Chicano when you're protesting specific things like Cesar Chavez was, or the right to have, these rules and regulations of living in the U.S.? Everybody has their own viewpoint of what defining what El Chicano is. Is it a feeling? Is it a way of life?
In the whole conflict of coming from Mexico, being American, then not being Mexican enough to be Mexican, then not being an American enough to be American, you only have Chicano. And now there's Latinx.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing that I learned.
Mario and I are working on a show that he sold to Netflix called Ashley Garcia. And the showrunner, we were just having a conversation today about it. He was like, well, how do you feel about Latinx? And I was like, I'm not about to buy my T-shirt just yet, but I'm not against it because it's a very cool word. It's like Malcolm X or Racer X.
Right. Yeah.
That. I think it's a cool word. And I think scholars are writing about it and they're using it in a positive way. We don't need another word, but because people are adopting it, why not?
See, you're so optimistic, Robert. That's what I love about you. Like a lot of people, like Lopez is old school. He's like, dude, I'm not. What is this? It's Latino, right? I know that you're a very like open-minded cat, and that's what I dig about you. You're like, yeah, okay, cool. No Latino no more. All right, I'll be Latinx. Cool.
Sure.
All right, I'm down with that too.
I mean, it's a new thing, but I'm telling you,
Lopez is old school though. He's like, I'm not Latinx, I'm Latino.
New York Times. Look, New York Times is mentioning it. A lot of universities are using it. It's really difficult to go against someone that's
you just changed my mind on it right now. You know that?
It's difficult to go against something that everyone's using in a positive way.
No. You know how powerful we could be if we like united. Feel
that's the biggest
like El Chicano
issue.
should have been like, oh, that's dope, bro.
Yeah.
You need anything from us?
Yeah,
we got some tracks. We got some old tracks that we never like. What can we do? How can we?
And that's been the tone through the whole battle. I mean, listen, I just talked to Joe a few hours ago, and it's this whole conversation where, you know, people showed up to see the movie, but people didn't show up. Yeah, people went to go see the end game. It was already a battle. Cinco de Mayo and end game became, you know, not just it's already a big movie, but the biggest movie ever. Right. But God bless my wife. She went to the Van Nuys plant, you know, when I was doing podcasts and interviews, and she took the kids over there just to see the crowd. She paid for a ticket and went in there. Yeah, she's a hardcore Mexicana, and she sat there, and the majority of people, you know, we had a good crowd coming out of the theater. She timed it out where she bought the ticket when they were just leaving, but in Endgame it was packed with nothing but Latinos coming out, and there's confusion.
Well,
and
Ben, dude,
it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, Chicano. It's a new superhero that everyone can enjoy.
The mask is so cool.
I agree.
Market that. I buy that for my kids. My kids will love it. They'll be running around in the cul-de-sac with it.
There's going to be some there's going to be some Halloween stuff going on there.
Goodfellas didn't do very well in the theaters either. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, and everyone was going to watch Endgame.
Yeah, you know, with those kind of movies, it's a big machine and a monster.
It's an event, right?
It's an event. It's like it's all fanboy, all fangirl. It's been around a long time.
I went at 6:30 in the morning with my family.
Did you really?
Dude, I mean, they were playing
6:30 in the morning
on the hour, every hour. It was nuts.
I've never seen any of those superhero movies. Not one.
I haven't
was a
seen
kid.
You're missing out. They're really great.
Am I though?
When
I just feel there's so much heart behind El Chicano. That's why I'm like, you know,
I agree. The issue I think for all people that watch movies is, why are you going to see the movie?
Yep.
I'm going to see Endgame because it's Disneyland to me.
Right.
I'm taking my kids and we're going to watch this origin story, and they're going to kill it because they just had so much money to get it right, and they don't care, and they'll redo it, and they'll do whatever they got to do to make sure that you can have it. If you want to go see a movie that's from the heart, that took some energy, that took some blood, sweat, and tears, then you go see El Chicano, you go see independent films, you know? Yeah. And on occasion, some of those films end up becoming the biggest films of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and that happens. So I think we all have to keep taking chances.
I mean, those are one of the biggest issues right now. Now that my reps are now, I'm getting offers. I mean, it's been a blessing. It is nice when you have a theatrical release.
Right now, but look at
it was going to happen.
It's nice when you have a theatrical release and you sell a film, as you know.
It's
rare, and all of a sudden the phone is ringing now, and it's like, and you now it's like you got to be really careful what you pick, and you still want to be true to yourself.
Yeah,
and you're telling a story. You're a storyteller,
right?
And for all the critics out there that were so negative about it, for me, it was like, listen, this is through my eyes. This is what I saw.
Was there a lot of negative?
I think even from either from old school, you know, Chicanos, unfortunately from, I think, for some of the newspapers and some of the Latinx, they were just so hardcore about nothing negative. And it's like, for me as a storyteller and as a filmmaker, I think it's important to have that viscerality and tell the truth and be real. And especially that the fact that this film was so close to me, obviously, it was about what I was exposed to as a young chavalito growing up in the barrio. And I'm just telling my story. You know, my brother was caught up in some bad shit, things that were caught up, that were connected through Mexico. And these were my ideas that came from my mind and my heart that I put on paper.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not trying to piss anybody off or make anybody upset, but it's my story. and it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
You know, what are you going to do? You know, it is what it is.
That's
You know?
it. That's what.
Well,
filmmaking is about.
we're really tough on ourselves, you know. I mean, Latinos.
Yeah.
Emilio Rivera has one of my favorite stories about when he came. You know, he got clean. He knew that in his heart he wanted to be an actor. He went to the Latino groups and said, "Hey, I'm here. I want to be part of you."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, you know, we don't really cast your type. We don't really need, you know, people like you." So he went to a couple of those groups. It didn't work out. When he went back to his acting teacher said, "Look, go to the West Side. Go somewhere where you might be an individual that they don't have." So he did. He went to Glendale, and they were like, "Dude, we need you." So he ended up, you know, succeeding in an area where it wasn't his people.
Right.
You know, and I think there's a lot to be learned from that. It seems unfair that's the kind of reaction you get to going to a group where they should be embracing their own and stop being so selective about that.
I agree. I think you have to look at the whole big picture. Listen, you can see a movie like mine and okay, you don't like the gang violence. You don't like the typical, you know, you have the gangster,
they have
the
gang
cholo,
violence in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I mean,
They just called him a different name.
Listen, I remember I put some on Instagram saying that, listen, no one has an issue when it's a white guy killing a Japanese guy, or Japanese guy killing a Japanese, or a white guy killing a white guy, or you know, it's all of a sudden it becomes a Latino thing. It's like everybody wants to kind of turn the cheek and look the other way. And I think that's not, for me, in my opinion, not what we want to teach our own children. It's like the reality in the life and looking at the big picture. Yeah, as much as there is negative, there's also positive.
Yeah, right.
And so when you have critics going like, "Oh, okay, typical, you know, Emilio Rivera's playing this part and Lopez is doing this," but nobody's talking about George Lopez he's playing a police officer. Right. Amy Garcia is playing a school teacher. You know, you have this Marlene Forte, who's a brilliant actress, who's from New York, is playing this mother who cares about her two sons, and it's like everything else is ousted out. They magnetize towards the negative, and it's like, that's a real world, man. That's the world. That's who we live in, especially right now with Trumpism and all this craziness going on right now.
It's tough.
Here's another thing you'll love. George Lopez, guess what? Isn't he Mexican Italian?
He's Mexican.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But George, again, you know, we're going back to somebody that he grew up in the San Fernando Valley, same area as me, and he got it and he understood it. Yeah. You know, and
well, the character's Mexican Italian.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. But not George Lopez himself, but the character he played is a Mexican Italian guy who's based on somebody you knew, right? Yes.
Yeah. It was this guy, Officer Pabon. This guy was he was a LAPD officer that when I was ditching class in high school, it was every day was different. It wasn't every day that I was doing it, but there was times when, you know, he'd catch me ditching. And he'd give me a little advice: stay in school, clean up your act, let me back into the school, or I'd go to juvenile hall, and then my mother would pick me up. But he was, every single one of those characters in that film was somebody that was related to my life and where I grew up. And listen, it's my story, and like I said before, not everybody's going to dig it, or they're going to dig certain specific parts about it. But I think it's important, like you said, just to embrace it all, because if we embrace this, then we can break it off and do something different, something special, and just tell stories that just happen to have Latinos in it.
Right. Yep. Well, you don't have to, it doesn't always have to be a competition.
No.
You know? What I do want to do is talk about how you got started, because a lot of this podcast is about people sort of figuring out that there's somebody, you know, and that you don't have to be from entertainment to make it in this business. But you were not born into entertainment.
No, I was first generation, man, and it was rough. It was tough. I fell into it accidentally. It was a blessing. I was a boxer. I trained as a fighter. I grew up on Delano Street in Van Nuys, just right down the street from the Van Nuys Police Department.
I know it well.
14th Street.
Yeah.
Our rival was Blythe Blythe 18th in Panorama City. And, I was just trying to find my way. I was just this young chavalito, this kid from the barrio with 5 other brothers and sisters, was raised by my mother and my grandmother. Statistically was the typical,
What happened to your dad?
Dad was just in and out of our lives. He had, they never really got along. And my mother, young Latina who, was living in Van Nuys and had her first, I think she had God, I wish I had that car now. She had a 68 Chevy Impala.
Oh, nice.
Right.
I think, 68 Chevy Impala, like that sky silver blue. Oh, beautiful car. So she brought it in to get tuned up, and my dad did his thing, and they met. And, it was an off and on relationship, one of those.
So he wasn't around that much?
He really wasn't around, no.
And your first experience with entertainment or movies was what?
Well, what it was is I really ended up being a sparring partner for my brother John Bray, who was on the U.S. Olympic team, like we were talking about with Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley.
Which is pretty amazing, right?
Amazing career. I mean, he fought.
You can't just get on the Olympic team, right?
Man.
You have to fight and win stuff. Right?
He had won. It's funny. Talk about perseverance. I remember his first 3 fights he lost as an amateur. He was 10 years old. He just loved the sport that much, and I think he believed that he knew that he was going to get better, and he just continued, and all of a sudden he was winning. He won the Blue and Gold tournament, the Daily News, Golden Gloves. I mean, he won everything here in Los Angeles. Eventually getting onto the U.S. Olympic team and working with, back then it was Pat Nappy and them, and then getting signed on with Lou Duva Productions, to the Mercado brothers, and working with Angelo Dundee. He had a phenomenal career. Fought out of everybody's camp, from Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Terrell Biggs.
Amazing.
It was amazing. But I had a good reference that I was never going to be that good. Yeah. I loved the game. But I knew that I needed to find some. I didn't know what it was, but I was going to find it. But I was just training. I was training at the Jet Center, Ben Urquidez's gym in Van Nuys, right off of Friar Street and Van Nuys Boulevard. And a director by the name of Nigel Dick walked into the boxing gym looking for a fighter to play this opposite part of the lead actor, which was Gary Stretch. Gary was welterweight champion of the world, and it was a movie called Dead Connection with Lisa Bonet and Michael Madsen. And I was just a street kid, and actually, I remember I was just hitting the bag, and they approached me, asked me to audition for this part, and my brother Craig, who we just talked about, who had passed away, we got in the ring, and we just put a fight together, and
choreographed
this fight, even though we didn't know what choreographing was at the time. We just put this fight together, and Nigel hired me on the spot. And it started from there. I was on this movie for, almost 3 weeks. And I met all these great veteran stuntmen and a few stunt coordinators. And one of them particularly was Ron Stein, who was president of Stunts Unlimited. And
he saw some talent.
I guess he saw some talent, and he said, listen, there's not a lot of guys of color. There's not a lot of Latinos that are stuntmen, and this is a great opportunity for you. And I was like, wow, I got the bug. I fell in love with it.
At what point did you get your SAG card? Like
it was that movie got my SAG card. I got
Did you get it early, or did you get it at the end?
I got it at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got it at the end. Yeah, because you get the paycheck and you're like, man, look at this money. It's like, wait a minute, you got to pay. Some of this money has to go back to paying your dues to get in.
But how much is it to join the union now?
You're gonna get mad at me. I'm still waiting to find out.
No. Didn't you say it was like $1,200 or $1,300?
For Taft-Hartley?
Yeah.
No, it's like more?
$6,000.
I just got Taft-Hartley this summer. An Italian.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm playing.
But to join the union, it costs you.
How much does it cost now?
It's like $6,000. Yeah.
Oh my God! It was $344 when I joined.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that crazy?
$344, man.
Right?
It was like $6,000. I remember even when I got my DGA card, it was like $12,000.
Right. That's something.
$12,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're a success story, man. You got your SAG card on that movie. You continued to work with Stunts Unlimited and with other directors, and you kept working as a stuntman for years.
I did. I was really fortunate. I ended up becoming because I have to mention them because they're my brothers and sisters. Ron Stein, who was the president of Stunts Unlimited, was like a father to me, and all this other gentleman who was a stuntman named Big Buck. We used to call him Big Buck. He was from Compton, African American guy who was again like another dad to me. I was really fortunate. I was, for whatever reason, the stars aligned, and these people really took me under their wing, and gave me these great opportunities. But I also want to mention ISA, International Stunt Association, which I'm still a member of. Yeah. I just became an honorary member because I don't hit the ground anymore or coordinate. But they were a group that really embraced me and embraced what they thought was talent, and really also helped my career. But I was just really fortunate. All I had, what I got from my mother and my grandmother, was work ethic.
Yeah.
So what I replaced with education was just hard work and instinct, and just busted my ass. And I thought, this is a great opportunity, and I was just fortunate to realize that I need to seize the moment.
Right.
And I did. I worked really hard.
So you kept working, and then your break came.
My break came on a movie called Courage Under Fire with Denzel Washington and Meg Ryan and Lou Diamond Phillips. And
what happened on that film?
Well, it was funny. Ron Stein, who was my mentor, was the stunt coordinator and second unit director on that film. They were looking for a replacement for Lou Diamond Phillips' stunt double, which was Jeff Cadiente, who was a good friend of mine. Jeff's, not only his stunt double was a really good friend of his, so he worked with him on La Bamba and all these other films. But Jeff was now, making his way as a stunt coordinator in his own and second unit director. He wasn't available, so Ron had asked, Jeff, hey man, would it be okay if we brought this young kid named Ben Bray to come in and double? And he said, yeah, of course. I love Ben. Let's give him a shot. And I got the job. And here I was, from the barrio on Delano Street. Now, next thing you know, I'm hanging out of helicopters, and I think we were in El Paso, Texas, and Austin, Texas, with a gunner and just firing these weapons. Yeah. It was crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
It from a boxer to a fighter in a movie, gets tapped early, then he goes into stunts. Bam, just like that.
It is dope. It's super blessing. Cool. So you get your break, you start working. I want to fast forward to when you got your opportunity to direct, because from going from stuntman and working consistently to being a director is a huge leap.
It's huge.
How did it happen?
And it's actually, even to this day, with the few that are doing it, it's still at times feels remarkable. It's almost a difficult jump to transition, because the mentality of the studio system, whether it be in feature films and television, is that yes, you have the skill set to coordinate action and direct action, but now we're talking about telling stories,
right?
And so you kind of get pigeonholed where the mentality's always been like, well, if we're Tebowing a vehicle, you're the guy. If we have two actors meeting together on the corner street having a conversation, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't think you can pull that off. And we've proved that we can. I was really fortunate. Listen, from having a group like ISA and Big Buck and Ron Stein, to now having Joe Carnahan and David O. Russell, really, really believed in me. I was really fortunate to have these guys. And that was my school. When you were on set, for me, being a young Latin kid, it was just kind of like, what's this guy do? Okay, that's a grip. That's an electrician. He's the first AD. That's the second AD. That's the DP. What does he do? Lenses.
But you saw a director and saw your future.
Yeah, I think I subconsciously, I think I knew in my mid-20s, I wanted to do that.
And was it because you were being directed and you were like, wow,
yeah. It really came from Ronnie. Ronnie said, listen, being a stunt guy, even as a coordinator, it's like being an athlete.
Yeah.
You can only do this for so long. So make sure that you learn lenses, you learn camera, you learn to build your social skills, talking with directors and actors and producers, right, because you're going to be asked questions during production meetings. And so as that all started kind of falling into place, even as a young stunt guy, I just knew that I don't know how I was going to get there,
yeah,
but I really wanted to tell stories. So what I did is, They don't have it anymore. You might know. You're a young guy, but they had a place called Samuel French Bookstore.
Sure.
There was one in Studio City.
Yeah,
and the
on
one in
Sunset
Hollywood.
Boulevard.
Yeah, and one in Sunset Boulevard just closed.
Oh, did it?
It closed,
that's
dude.
horrible,
It's gone,
dude.
bro.
That's horrible. That's
Across
how
from
old I
Fortune's
am.
Gym.
That's how old I
Across
am.
from Fortune's Gym.
Yeah, it's right down the street from
Great
Well,
bar
Fortune's
next
Gym.
to Harmony Gold Theater.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on.
They also closed the
You'd walk in there, and it's like a dream room.
Yeah.
You could
It's like
pick
a
up
blanket, dude.
Oh,
You just put it, you
And
read all about
directing
stuff.
and producing
Yeah.
and bios and all these things you could absorb. So that's what I was doing.
What was your first thing, though? What was the first thing you directed?
What it was is Joe had given me. I got my DJ card on Smokin' Aces, and I remember the day I was. It wasn't even during prep or production. He was like, it was literally the day before, and we're tech scouting this action sequence where there's 4 bodyguards and this one character that he had written about in this narrative, and they're going to be across the street and they're just all going to be fucking sprayed with fucking bullets, and they're going to land. And this girl on this bicycle is going to run by, and it's going to be a nice, beautiful, wide, like 21 mil shot, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got the guys. We're gonna set up these doubles and everything. And he's like, no, you're gonna shoot it. And I was like, yeah, you're funny, man. I'm not even in the union. It's like, we're going to be in the union tomorrow. I said, excuse me? He goes, cool. I love you, bro. You're my best friend. It's your time. So in downtown Los Angeles.
You got to talk to Lopez, dude.
I got goosebumps on that right there.
And here I was. Larry Blanford, who was my DP, who's done a lot of the X-Men movies. I had him in my corner. Joe was off. Joe wasn't even there to babysit. He goes, I got to go. First unit. You're going to do second unit. I'm out. And it was amazing, man. That was my first day. I got my DGA card. And then from there on, I started directing all the second unit. And so Joe kind of was, and David too, but especially Joe, were just watching me as I was coming up. And Joe had written and developed a TV series called State of Affairs here at Universal. It was supposed to be for Katie Heigl. It was her kind of comeback show, and it was with her and Alfred Woodard, and he did it again. We were at least I got a little early plan on it. We did 13 episodes, and we were about 6 episodes in. He said, "You're directing episode 12." And I said, yeah, I'm going to shoot second unit and I'll cover everything that you don't finish. He goes, no, you're going to direct an episode. I said, are you kidding me? It's the first season of a show. That never happens, especially with my background. He goes, I don't give a fuck. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And so he fought at NBC Universal and says, this guy, he pushed every envelope. He says, his background, he's been in this for 25 years. He's Latino. It's important. Yeah. Everything from the political views of it, my ethnicity, the time that I put into the business. Like if anybody knows how to tell a story, it's this guy. I've trusted him with everything. And he had written a letter, and so did David O. Russell, written a letter for me. Right. And
it worked.
And it worked. Next thing you know, I was lower lot right here at Universal, was directing my first episode. And my first scene was with Alfred Woodard. Really? It was crazy, yeah. Right. That was, I think, late 2014.
Yeah.
And then it just opened the door.
Right. And then you started directing.
Yeah, I started directing. Got a manager. And
name some of the shows you've been directing.
I do. The majority of them right now have been Greg Berlanti, who's been really great to me. Greg Berlanti show. So I direct episodes of Supergirl.
Did you do you?
I didn't do
okay.
You. No. Yeah, I know.
I'm friends with Caroline Kepnes, who wrote it. Who wrote the book?
Oh wow!
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's right.
That's a whole other thing. But
you want to get her in here, right?
I'm going to bring her in. She has the story behind how she wrote you and where she was and all that's just crazy. But
that's fantastic.
But congratulations, dude. I mean, look, you're obviously someone that has an enormous amount of talent. Was born to do what you're doing, and it wouldn't have happened for you had you not had the will to get out and do it once your mentors said you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing, right? One thing is for someone to go, you're doing it tomorrow. The other thing is for you to do it tomorrow, right? And to make sure that Alfred Woodard understands she's in good hands.
Yeah.
Right? And she's listening to someone that's going to help her be great. So congratulations on El Chicano, on your career,
Thanks, bro.
on what's coming for you. I know we know some of the same people. Spiro Rosados, who's a great
I love Spiro.
second unit director, should be directing.
Right?
But he's a great guy. I've known him for years and years. And it just sounds like you had like a very beautiful trip from the barrio to show business.
It was a heck of a journey, but it's I've been very blessed.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go see El Chicano. I've heard nothing but great things about it.
Thanks, brother.
I think we need more movies like it.
We need Ben Brackett back in too. You got to come back in for that.
Well,
Yeah,
we've
I'd
got
love
a lot
to
to
come
talk
back
about,
anytime,
man.
man. Yeah,
We've got
man.
lots to talk
We
about.
kinda
Maybe we should have
blanketed
Emilio
over-
and him in there
That
at the
would be
same
cool,
time.
man.
At the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time.
I'd love to do that. Yeah, man.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I think it's inspirational. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this story. And look, anyone can do it, right? If we
Anybody
can come out
can
of
do
East
it.
LA, if you can come out of Van Nuys, it's just about storytelling and believing in yourself.
Exactly. I think it's important that if anything happens with this film, numbers and success, whatever, but if anything, for me, what's really important is for the next generation of Latinos, even presently Latinos that are now right now older adults, and
Tootie.
is that anybody can, think outside the box.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. It really is, man. It really is. I mean, if you would roll down my neighborhood right now and see where I grew up, you would not believe that what I'm doing now compared to where I was raised. It's a blessing, but anything is possible.
Yeah.
It is. Man.
Well, you proved that, dude. Congratulations.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Looking forward to what's coming next. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on. We'll listen to you next time. Well, you'll hear us next time on Let's Get Into It.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me. Oh, shit. I keep hitting the fucking button on this bitch thing, bro.